It's been a clinical third day of the Super 8 round of the T20 World Cup 2026 as West Indies just beat Zimbabwe at Mumbai by a margin of 107 runs in what can be anticipated as a sensational match today. It was one for the history books, to be honest. And not only was it for the history books because West Indies and Zimbabwe were facing each other off at Mumbai, but because West Indies kind of took over Sri Lanka's record of posting the highest total in the T20 World Cup 2026 so far, as they posted up a total of 254 for Zimbabwe to chase down in 20 overs. And in that sort, Zimbabwe had to chase down a target of 255 in just 20 overs to win the match, which they of course couldn't succeed. And the news flash is that Zimbabwe won the toss today at Mumbai and they decided to bowl first, and that is exactly where they lost the match. See, when you're a captain and you're winning the toss, you have a decision that could be taken considering two things into mind. One, your team strength; the other, your team's the condition of the venue that you're playing in. And for there are two teams that need to be very considerate when taking the right decisions at the toss. One is Pakistan and the other one is Zimbabwe, because both the teams, although they need to take the conditions into account, but more than the conditions, they should really take their team's strength into account if they are to win certain matches. Because we have seen that both the teams, both Pakistan and Zimbabwe, are two teams that are and Sri Lanka as well. That's team number three. So these are three teams of the T20 World Cup 2026 so far that really haven't been successful in that resilience, and they haven't really been able to tick that resilience box so far. And in that sort, they have always struggled to really make up with those extra runs that they succeed while not making the right decision. So for Pakistan, of course, the strength lies in their bowling, and that's the same case for Zimbabwe as well. So ideally, especially when you're playing a T20 match, you should execute your strength in the second innings, and Zimbabwe couldn't really really consider that today, be considerate of that today. And Sri Lanka made the exact same mistake a couple of days ago, not a couple of days ago, in fact, one day ago, one day before this match, they made the exact same mistake when facing off England. And as because of that, they lost the match. And in fact, they made the same mistake a couple of days ago. In fact, in the match against England, I think there were some tactical blunders rather than not making the right decision at the toss. But before that match, in their last group match, especially against Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka's last group match against Zimbabwe, they made the same mistake, not making the right decision at the toss. So toss really does set the tone of the match for you. So Zimbabwe really lost in that point of time, but the loss was still recoverable had they have been a bit more mindful of their conditions, had read the pitch well, and especially would have done their homework well. For West Indies, it was an enchanting story today, as they really managed to clinch that all important victory against Zimbabwe. West Indian side, they have been what's really working for the West Indian side, it is the fact, and this has been the strength for the Sri Lankan side as well, and I've been saying that in all of my podcasts so far. For the Sri Lankan side, the strength lies in, and for the West Indies alike, both the Sri Lanka and West Indies have made drastic changes in their coaching side. And what are those drastic changes? For the Sri Lankan side, they have incorporated Lasith Malinga in their coaching side, and the West Indies, they have incorporated Darren Sammy in their coaching side. And ever since then, incorporating Lasith Malinga in the coaching side for Sri Lanka has done wonders for their team. And same has been the case for the West Indian side as well, who have turned up to be a completely different side, and it's been giving us major deja vu from the 70s and 80s. And it's very heartwarming to see the comeback of this West Indian side. Well, another thing that I was really fascinated and frankly speaking really happy to see was how well the West Indian side, especially over the past few years, well, maybe not over the past few years, but over the past few months, how well they've adapted to the modern day cricket. And when I talk about modern day cricket, where if I take you if I take you a few months back, where England and South Africa were facing each other off at Old Trafford, and history was made there when when a total of 300 plus was posted on board by Team England, and there were so many records made that day at Old Trafford, and that is where a new benchmark was set in T20 cricket, and modern day cricket had well and truly announced its arrival at that point of time. So in the entire situation, where even 305 have been put on bored with by teams. West Indies, I think they did their homework pretty well. They really utilized the conditions. And for West Indian bowlers, I've been saying this for a long period of for a long time now. West Indian bowlers, especially their pacers, they have a lot to their advantage. Number one is their height, and they do not fail to amaze us every single time. Well, I think for West Indies the plan has been pretty simple all throughout the previous years. If I take you, if I give you a flashback of the 2019 World Cup when they faced Pakistan, and Pakistan, really got all out of on 107 runs in just 21.4 in the ODI World Cup of group stage match between Pakistan and West Indies, where Pakistan got all out on 107 thanks to all those bouncers and short pitch deliveries incorporated by the West Indian bowlers. Ever since then, and even before that, for long, this has been the strength of the West Indian bowlers, especially their pacers, where they incorporate where they incorporate extra bounce in their deliveries. And extra bounce, well, if not incorporated well, it really is a sensitive thing to play with. But if incorporated well, it really does set the tone for you. It really does set the tone for your win, and it really does things exceptionally well for your team. And West Indies, well, they have well and truly understood that assignment, and in that sort they have done everything right so far. And the West Indian side, well, their strength for long has been to play with the line and length, and very successfully play with the line and length, and to bowl away from the stumps. That is where the strength of their pacers lie, and that is how for long how precisely West Indies was able to clinch today's match as well. Well, I was particularly happy to see their batting side step up, because if I if you recall with me that match where Carlos Brathwaite earned that famous phrase, remember the name Carlos Brathwaite. He came so close to making sure that West Indies really to taking West Indies really over the line in that match, and he really got out on that of that six. That was an intended six, but he got out in of that catch in the deep, and Carlos Brathwaite really couldn't really couldn't and Carlos Brathwaite actually there was one instance where Carlos Brathwaite really pushed the West Indian side over the line, and there was another instance where he was so close to taking West Indies over the line, but really couldn't incorporate that incorporate that six of the last delivery where he got out. So I mean, for long, proper finishers have been a novel thing for the West Indian batting side. But today, Shimron Hetmyer really decided to change things with his sensational knock of 85 runs. He batted with a strikeout of 250, really setting the tone for the win for Team West Indies, and it really played an instrumental role in that win for the West Indian side. So, I mean, for long, the bowling side has been instrumental for West Indian for a win for the West Indian side, but now their batting side has also decided to step up, and with that, West Indian side have decided that they're second to none in this tournament. And for Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, they still have a chance. I'd say for Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, both the teams, they have a very solid chance of making it to the semis. All they need is to go back to their dressing rooms and deeply reflect on the mistakes that they're doing, and just making the right decisions at the toss can really do wonders for both the team. Well, that was it from the video today, and we will be back with more such post-match analysis shortly. Till then, this is your host Noorish Khan signing off. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Master Sports Network, that's your go-to platform for all the cricketing updates. Till then, see you.